Alright, I believe we are back with the final Lost Sector guide of Season 22. We're finally here. We did it. I hope there's not another one tomorrow. I can't remember. But either way, we are starting on Titan. This is not a good one to farm. So if you are, looking to farm this one, just don't do it. I actually didn't even have the right weapons equipped here. I don't know what was going on. I did this really early in the morning, so my brain was kind of half working. But either way, we are going with the Strand Titan, the typical build that I've been running the whole time. And I'm using Monte Carlo just to regenerate that melee energy quickly. You don't have to do that, but I like using it because it's fun. Now we have a barrier champion that's kind of towards the right of us, and he's going to retreat if we don't deal with him. It's not the worst thing in the world if you can't get to him quick enough. I think in one of these runs I didn't quite get there fast enough, but yeah, that's okay. He's just gonna jump down on off that ledge right behind me right now. That's the furthest he'll go. At least that's the furthest I've ever seen him go. It's never taken me longer than that to kill him. But we want to clear out all these enemies and then just wait right by this post here, or this little box. Wait for those enemies to spawn out. And then we're gonna slowly creep up and aim towards that Shrieker up ahead, and that's going to trigger it to open up, and we'll use this box as cover. And so usually, like, if I had a strand weapon equipped and I aimed better, I probably could have gotten this done in one phase. But worst case scenario, you back up a little bit, you recover health, and then you're good to go. This barrier champion underneath us will jump. He'll end up just jumping up there. Usually this is where I kill him. You have good cover here, nice angle on him, and we can stun him. And that is, those are the only two champions for this first area until we hop across. Then we'll have a few unstoppable champions to deal with, and they can creep up on you for sure. But first we have to clear out all these enemies. So hang back as much as you need to. You don't need to go up there. There are quite a few, and there are enemies that are going to be shooting down at you as well. So make sure to use as much cover on your left side as possible. But what we want to do is we want to make our way over to this knight, kill the knight, and then look at your kill feed for that unstoppable champion when it spawns in. I'm going to show you exactly where you should be aiming. There you go. I saw it there. I'm going to just knock these guys out with a fusion rifle. That unstoppable is going to be on our left side, so I can just creep out, shoot him, and should be able to easily take him out. With enough enemies, Syntheseps is going to proc, so we get a nice, juicy melee hit on that unstoppable. And now we can work our way. I don't think I hit the crystal that I'm supposed to. I just got too sidetracked, but you don't have to hit it right away. See that crystal up above in the middle there? There's one in each of these three areas that we have to clear out. And so I'm just going to take out some of these middle areas first. The Void Burn does quite a bit of damage. There's a lot of Void Acolytes here that are really going to do quite a bit of damage to you. Same story here as we just did. Just take out all the enemies in the area. Keep a lookout for that kill feed, because we're going to have another unstoppable champion spawn in kind of on the right side. So there we go. I'm going to get ready for it. And okay, well, this time he spawned on the other side. I think there's a couple spawn locations, but that angle that I showed you there is, you'll be able to see all those spawn locations from there. So it's very easy to see. But that's 2 out of 3 areas done. And I believe that Tangle actually killed that Void Crystal there. I'm like, wait, where'd it go? Did I take it out, or what happened? But the first one I remembered, okay, I did not hit this one. And I'm going to take a look. I believe I look one more time for this one. I'm just confused what's going on. But then I realized the Tangle probably killed it, so I'm going to head over to the other area. This is the final section, and this Ogre, a little bit tougher to get a line of sight on him because those 2 spawn locations are a little bit further apart from each other, but that's okay. I'll show you where I like to stand. So left, that's one location right there. This is the other, but we're going to use this box as cover and then take this guy out. But make sure to take out these Void Acolytes first, because if you're dealing with this unstoppable champion while the Void Acolytes are shooting at you, you might die. And keep an eye on your fusion rifle ammo here. I'm getting pretty low here, so I want to make sure I have enough to deal with this unstoppable. And this is the final unstoppable champion in this area, so I don't really need any more fusion rifle ammo, but it's nice to have, just in case. And now I can take out the final crystal. That's going to spawn in the boss. And I actually had a horrible boss rotation here. So if you can do more damage to the boss, go ahead and do that. But I'm shooting him just to make sure that the ammo, or that he's taking damage numbers, then I pop my super. But this barrier champion, I kind of whiffed that a little bit. You want to take out this barrier champion, which I did not do. So I thought for sure I had taken him out, and I was really confused when I saw him still alive at the very end. I'm like, is there another barrier that I missed? Nope, I just did not kill him. So you want to make sure that that barrier champion is dead, because he just creates a lot of problems for you that are pretty unnecessary. The whole middle area is just completely flooded with void damage, and even on Strand Titan, it can be pretty risky if you grapple into an area. If you, like, before you land or connect that melee hit, if you get hit with too much void damage, you're gonna die. So I am just standing back here. This is a strategy if you're maybe not on Strand. You just want to hang right here. You can see this is the perfect spot. You always have a line of sight on the boss. I have plenty of machine gun ammo left, and I can just take it out from a safe distance. Yeah, this whole Lost Sector is very, very long. There's a lot of champions, a lot of enemies, and there's just not a great farm loop. And of course, I could easily shave 3 minutes off of this time probably if I really optimize this, but I've never really cared about perfecting this Lost Sector because it just takes so long, and the time to reward ratio is so low that I might as well just wait for another day. But if you just need the clear for this, I know there are some triumphs out there just to get the clear, or maybe if you're really desperate for a weapon, then go ahead and do this. But that is me going, I'm confused as why there's another barrier champion when really it is just the same one. And now we can grapple, get that fancy kill, and yeah, we're almost at 7 minutes here. This is a horrible, horrible Lost Sector for farming, but that is Titan. Let's move on to Hunter, which I'm using the same build as I've been using the last couple days, that Liar's Handshake arc build. And I don't think I showed the weapons here for some reason. I was looking at the footage. Let me just make sure. But I'm using Circular Logic, the normal machine gun. Yeah, I didn't show, so I'm sorry about that. But Circular Logic, and then I am also using Quicksilver Storm on arc. I mean, it still is nice to have those tangles that do damage. And then just a fusion rifle. So I'm using just any arc fusion rifle. It doesn't really matter. And so what we're going to do here is we have a lot of enemies, and this Void Burn does a lot of damage here. So there's a lot of enemies that do have Void Burn. So we want to take them all out and kind of play this one a little bit more safely than we have been. Just because of the amount, like this Lost Sector has seems like 4 times as many enemies as other Lost Sectors. We have a lot more champions, a lot more enemies that can just kill us very quickly, and not a lot of good line of sight. We're kind of put in a lot of awkward positions. But this Barrier Knight spawns up top where I'm standing right now, and he will end up moving away. That's okay. That's right where he's at now, is about as far back as he goes, and we can easily take him out. So no rush on killing that barrier. But what we're going to do now is use this box here as cover, and we're going to take those guys out first and creep up and get this Shrieker to open up so we can take out this Shrieker, because obviously void damage Shrieker, bad. 2 phases is okay. All we have to do is just kind of re-step up again, but I'm going to deal with them because they're annoying. Step up a little bit to that same spot, and then it opens up, and we can easily take out the Shrieker. So we've got that Barrier Knight right there. He usually will, I'm not able to kill him quick enough down there, and I like this spot better anyways because we have more cover. So don't worry about trying to take out that barrier while he's underneath you, because it's just a really awkward line of sight. And I had to just reload every gun I had right there. So unfortunately the barrier healed up a little bit. I wasted some ammo, but that is okay. Just not having a great time here. So I'm going to make sure I'm taken care of there by reloading first. And so those 2 Barrier Knights are the only 2 champions in this first area before we jump the gap across. And then we're going to have 3 more unstoppable champions, but I'm going to show you exactly where you need to stand, where they're going to spawn in, all that to easily deal with them. because the Unstoppables are annoying if you don't deal with them quickly, because they just chase you forever. And that void damage does a lot. So I'm just kind of taking out all of these enemies in the lower area. You will have some enemies trying to shoot you from above on the left, off that ledge. So if you use cover on your left, then they won't be able to hit you. So helpful tip there. But in this little corner section, we want to take out all of these enemies, and then an unstoppable champion is going to spawn in. And I was actually a little bit late in getting to my position here. I thought I was going to die, but see him just kind of hanging out behind that tube there? That's usually where he goes, so you're safe right here. And I didn't realize there was that pipe there, so I aimed a little high and totally whiffed that super. But I will have it by the time we get to the boss, which is good. And I should have taken out those enemies first. I like to shoot a couple fusion rifle shots at that cave as they spawn out, but we were okay. And so that was the first ogre that we had to take care of, first unstoppable. I should have shot that crystal above it. I guess I don't need to now. I just got sidetracked. But we were going to take out these acolytes here in the middle, just kind of take out the surrounding area. There's, again, like I said, just so many enemies. And once we take out this knight, we're again going to kind of get ready for another unstoppable champion that's going to spawn in. And there we go. I'm looking at my kill feed. It says a champion has appeared. And we can hang back here. He normally doesn't come down those stairs, and I almost died again. But I'm just trying to stun the champion so I can deal with these annoying acolytes. So I have to stun this unstoppable like 7 times in order to deal with it, but that's okay. As long as it's stunned, it can't do anything to you. So that's 2 out of the 3 locations done. You'll see that immunity shield over the crystal kind of disappears once I kill the unstoppable. And then that reminded me, oh, the first one I missed. So that's okay. You can just go back, grab this, and I'm going to work my way up the middle and take out these enemies. If there's still enemies in the middle, you can kill them. But there will be a lot more acolytes. These guys like to just stand there and shoot at you while you're focusing on other things. So we're going to just make sure everything is clear, because we're going to have another unstoppable champion spawn in. This one can spawn in from this left location, or about 90 degrees to the right. If you look there, he'll spawn out of another cave. So he can sneak up on you for sure. But that is three areas done, 3 out of 3. And we are going to activate that final crystal, or kill that final crystal, and head over, deal some damage to the boss. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to one phase. This boss actually is very tanky, and so the Gathering Storm did not really even tickle him that much. And I want to use this cover where I'm about to jump up to here. This is the safest spot in this whole area. Really, nothing can shoot you unless you poke your head out. Nothing is going to come your way. But we've got a barrier knight here, which, of course, makes things annoying. This is the last champion of this lost sector, so we're going to just deal with him. Thankfully, he was kind of off to the side there. Sometimes he hangs out in the middle. If he does, just kind of wait for him to move. And, of course, stunning him is going to keep him in place. But if you need to deal with the smaller acolytes first, all of that void damage, do that. Because they will stack up on you. And right now I'm just trying to get some better positioning. This, again, was not a very good clear. It's just not a very good lost sector in general. It takes way, way too long. There's too many enemies, too many champions. The boss has too much health. And so I think, realistically, I could probably get this down if I really just tried and got everything perfectly optimized, like my skill level, 4.5, 5 minutes, I'm saying. But is it worth it when you could do other lost sectors way easier and get those down to 2 to 3 minutes? No, this one is just not, it's not worth it. But I'm going to show you how to do it, obviously, anyway. So we're done with most of these enemies here. And the boss still has just a ton of health. I actually almost have my super back, which is kind of crazy. But we're just going to use our machine gun here and do what we can. And then once we kill this boss, we're actually going to have another round of... It's so ridiculous. Another round of enemies will spawn in once we kill the boss. So it's just rubbing salt in the wound of this lost sector. And so what I'm going to do is just get a melee kill, get some healing, and then just say, screw it, I'm going to go for it. If you feel like you want to kill those enemies first, do that. But that is Hunter. Let's move on to Warlock. Alright, so for Warlock, we are using the exact same build that we were using, I believe, the past couple days, just this Arc Vesper of Radius build. It's fun. We get a lot of Arc Souls, a lot of grenades, a lot of abilities with all of the Ionic traces we're using, and we get even more from the Delicate Tomb fusion rifle that we're using, but it is, of course, not necessary. You can use any fusion rifle you want, preferably Arc or Strand, because it's an Arc and Strand burn. So you want to use that. But use what you've got. You can get this done. These are not too difficult. It's just all about positioning. So what we're going to do, anytime I'm running Arc Warlock, I just throw a grenade to start off the fight. There's a lot of void damage here. The void burn does a lot of damage with how much there is. Just a lot of acolytes will be shooting you constantly. And this barrier knight, I was actually able to get quickly. He pretty much instantly retreats, and he's going to take this path that I'm running on now and go down to where those 3 acolytes are right now. That's as far back as he's going to go, so don't worry if you can't take out the barrier as fast as I did. It's actually probably safer to take him out once he jumps down. But I'm going to just kind of wait for these acolytes. There's 4 acolytes that spawn in on top, and I'm going to creep up ahead and open up the Shrieker. And if you need to 2-phase it like I did, that's fine. I'm going to pop a healing rift here and just kind of see how I'm creeping forward. If that opens up the Shrieker, now we don't have to deal with that. And we have a barrier champion as well as a few acolytes below us, but they're going to jump up right where I am shooting now. So if you deal with them down below, you can. It's just a awkward line of sight and you're kind of exposed. So I just like to toss a grenade right there, take them out easy. I can use these crates as cover. And we are good with that first section already. And now we can jump across. We have 3 unstoppable champions to deal with before the boss. And they can kind of creep up on you if you don't know where they spawn. You'll see it in the kill feed and then be wondering where they are, and then you'll just die because they'll somehow make their way behind you. But first we have to take care of all these enemies. As you can see, just tons of acolytes, tons of void damage coming your way. And so feel free to take as long as you want in this area, but we're trying to move our way over to this corner platform where there are some enemies, and once we take out those enemies, that's going to spawn in an unstoppable champion. And I'm always going to position myself right here so I am ready for it to come in. There we go. And I'm going to take out those acolytes across from me first, because that's void damage I don't want to deal with. And unstoppable is right there. So we'll just throw a grenade, use some machine gun ammo, and that's a very easy kill on that unstoppable. And now we can take out that void crystal and work towards the next area. You can take out some of the middle enemies if you want in that whole middle section, because there are quite a few. I'm just going to move over to these guys and just take out this next area first, and there will be another unstoppable champion that spawns in. There you go. He's right out of there. There's another spawn location kind of towards the left, but this angle you'll be able to see exactly which one he's at and stun him instantly. So just position yourself right here, and that's 2 locations done. Now we can start working on the middle a little bit to clear out some of that void damage from the acolytes and work our way over to the 3rd and final location with those void crystals. And don't be afraid to pop your well or your healing rift whenever you need. So there's just enemies everywhere, and yeah, it's not good. But we want to take out all of these enemies to trigger the final unstoppable champion. And this one has 2 locations again that it could spawn in. It could spawn in there, which is where I'm looking, or to our left. So just always position yourself behind this crate. If he doesn't spawn in on the right, look to your left, and you'll easily be able to take it out. And we'll just take out these remaining enemies and move on to the boss fight. And this boss does have just a ton of health. So I've said in the other classes so far that, man, you have a boss with a lot of health, can't really easily be one-phased. You have way too many acolytes, lots of void damage, you have a lot of champions, and a very long lost sector. So this might be one of the worst ones to farm. There are a couple bad ones, but I'm going to throw my pulse grenade and super right here and make sure I don't get up too close, because once he kind of gets unstunned, he's just going to start lasering you with that void damage. So you want to be ready to go back here. And then once we take off a little bit of his health, we're going to get a barrier champion to spawn in too. Ideally, we take out that barrier first, but if we don't have a good line of sight on him, then we can't do it. But now, I guess it's okay, so we'll just take him out. And this is the last champion of the whole Lost Sector, and I don't know what I'm doing with my weapons there. This was not a very good takedown of this barrier champion at all. Yeah, I'm missing my jumps. This was early in the morning when I did this, so I was still kind of waking up. I know, excuses, right? I'm just I need to get better. But we are very low red health here. I could have stayed back in that little cubby that I was in about 30 seconds ago and just picked off all the enemies from there, but I was getting a little bit impatient. So I know I can take out this boss. We're just going to toss a grenade. And this should be enough. Surprisingly, I believe the Warlock was my fastest clear. Normally it's Titan, but I don't know. This one's annoying. You never know what's going to happen in this one. And then once we kill the boss, we're going to get another just big wave of ads that spawn in as insult to injury. And I guess I didn't kill that barrier champion. Wow, I didn't realize that until I'm recording this. So ideally, you want to take out that barrier champion first, because why put another barrier, no pun intended, between you and that chest at the very end? And now he's just kind of jumbled up between a bunch of enemies, and I'm struggling to take him out. This clear should have been done over a minute ago. I just did a terrible job of dealing with the barrier knight beforehand. So hopefully you do better than me, but we are finally there. Good to go. And that is it for K1 Revelation. One of the worst lost sectors in the game in terms of farming. But that is it for this one. I will see you all in the Discord or the next video.